Zion, dear Zion, land of the free.
This is Ben McClintock and Enoch Moore of DefendingUtah.org, where we think right and wrong, not right and left.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Defending Utah YouTube channel. You can also find us on Spreaker, iTunes, and iHeartRadio. And we have with us now, we've got Charlotte Christie and Guy Finicum, and they have an event coming up called the Liberty Convention. And this is, I think, the second year in a row that you guys have done this, and you can find out more about it at conventionofliberty.com. Thanks for joining us, Charlotte and Guy.
Well, thanks for having us, Ben.
Did I get that right? Is this your second year in a row doing this?
We've done, actually, the first one was in 2009, and we did a series of them at that point. And we did one in March, and that one was very successful. And so they've asked us to do another one, which we're doing on Constitution Weekend on the 16th and 17th of September in Fillmore. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't think of a better thing to do with your family on Constitution Day. This would be a great thing to be able to go down. It's Constitution Day. It's down at the original capital of the state of Utah. It's just a great place to be. I mean, you've got the founding of two great countries there, right there, or two great governments there in one spot. So that's a great thing to. Hopefully, everybody goes to conventionofliberty.com to get their tickets. And again, that's the 16th and 17th of September. Tell us a little bit about what's the theme and who's going to be speaking there.
Well, I'll introduce the theme for us here.
Yeah.
Our theme for this conference is discovering your mission in the cause of liberty. And let me give you a little background as to why we chose that theme. This theme actually came from a discussion that, Charlotte and I had, along with Steve Millay and several other people. But for me personally, it came down to my relationship with my brother Lavoy. And we had a lot of discussions over the years about liberty. And I believe that we were pretty much of one heart about the cause of liberty. But there were things that he felt compelled to do in his life that I felt like were not right for me to do in my life. And sometimes we'd have a little bit of a debate back and forth, but we always could come to a place where we had respect and understanding for each other, and we could say, you know what, I trust that you're doing what's right for you, and I trust that I'm doing what's right for me. And we had respect for each other in those decisions. And so while we traveled different roads, followed different paths, we were always very united as brothers. Mm-hmm. And when we look at the liberty movements over the years, there's been this really terrible problem where people try to come together, let's get on the same page, let's unite, and they get together, they get a little momentum, and then they break apart. Either their leadership gets taken over or taken out, or they begin to fight amongst each other, and they just fall apart. Mm-hmm. And look back at the movements that you've been familiar with and tell me if that's not the case. And the problem with that is, we fall into a trap where we want to start telling people how to do it. And that goes contrary to the principles of liberty. We as individuals are endowed by God with our liberty, and with that comes not only an entitlement, but a responsibility to do things according to our gifts and our talents. All we got to do is make sure that we're not violating somebody else's rights as we do it. And then we should be free to pursue it however we want. And so, this comes back to how do we create a movement that sustains? Well, that has to be a very individual thing. And if we all learn to follow the true author of liberty, which is not immortal here on earth,
right,
then we have a chance of pulling together something that sustains, because we will respect each other. And at one point, if we pursue our roads far enough, we will find that we are all working in harmony, not playing the same note, not even playing the same instrument possibly, but working in harmony. And so with this convention, we've put together a collection of speakers who are all following their personal mission in the cause of liberty as they understand it. And we're hopeful that as we bring in a variety of people and we listen to them, but those that attend will be inspired to search for, discover, and start developing and pursuing their own mission in the cause of liberty.
That's awesome. So who are some of those people that are coming to speak?
Well, we have Gavin Sign coming, and we've met with him before. He's amazing. You can look him up on YouTube and see some of the videos that he's done. And he's
in fact, on our radio program, actually, we covered his coverage live when the last few people were coming out of the refuge there in Oregon. So I hope our listeners, if they're not familiar with Gavin, they should be. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and just look him up. He's got his channel. He's very passionate and he's very articulate, and I love listening to him. I wish I could speak like that. But you know, his brand is somewhat, you know, he goes and he tells people, he's bold, he stands up, he says this is what is true and this is what is not. And he does you know, he stands in front of the train, and really, and it's awesome to watch. I just say, whoa, that's so cool. And that's his thing. And so he's going to come and talk to us about the things that he does. Brian Hyde will be there. He's another radio show talk host. Just amazing. We're still working on all of the different topics and things, but Brian has stood for liberty publicly over the years and has really put himself in a place where he has the heart and the mind together on how things should go. And I really appreciate how he really draws the feeling and the passion of liberty into the things that he does. We also have
Well, you mentioned Steve Millay. The thing I like about Steve Millay is he's a history buff. He has a really good command on the history of the founding fathers. And so, you know, he's going to present a little bit on them and some of the principles that held them together. You know, one of the great stories, and I don't know if he'll touch on this one, but is the story of Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, who were very close friends and very bitter rivals, and then later again very close friends.
Yeah,
different men from different walks of life, but it required both of them. They were probably number 2 and 3 as in importance, just behind George Washington, in the establishment of this nation.
right.
You know, different guys, but it took both of their talents to get something to happen. And so, you know, Steve's going to talk about some people in history who have discovered their personal mission and some of the principles that they used. So he's speaking with us.
We also have John Pratt. He's the son of Stephen Pratt, who did Liberty and Learning. And John is going to talk about principle-based actions never change, which is, you know, he doesn't ever go with the political correctness. You know, that if you're going to be principle-based, then you don't ever have to worry about the changing times.
Right.
John is a very matter-of-fact speaker as well. It's, you know, when I speak with him, I can't argue with anything that he says.
Right.
He's amazing. We have, well, Ben, tell us what you're going to talk about.
Our listeners are going to be quite familiar with the topic of the lands transfer and the importance of understanding the principles of what public land is and why it's important to not only get them back, but understand the wrong solution as well as what the right solution is. So it's something that you guys, I was really pleased to see last year. You guys talked about HB 276. The part of that bill took away a lot of the power from the sheriffs, among other things. And so there are people out there that are having solutions out there that we think will take away more liberty than they'll restore. And so I'll be talking a lot about that.
You know, and we really are going to spend a lot of time focusing on, you know, principles of government and creating those things in society that help a society work. But a society cannot work unless the people within the society are healthy. So we've actually invited somebody who is a non-conventional or an unconventional healer to come speak as well.
Interesting.
Because Yeah, and that might be a stretch for some people, but I'm really excited to bring her up
Terry
too.
Barnett.
Yeah, Terry Barnett, and she's a person that I've met personally and spent some time with, and she's been of great help to my family, especially my wife, and so I'm really excited to bring somebody up that can talk about something that is her personal mission that she's passionate about. And some people may wonder at first what that has to do with liberty, but if we've enslaved ourselves to more than just government. We've enslaved ourselves and made gods the American Medical Association, if I might say. Now, I'm not putting down doctors or anything, but they certainly don't have a monopoly on illness and how to correct it.
Right.
Other things out there that are at work that maybe they don't draw as much money, so they don't draw as much attention.
Right.
Necessary nonetheless for a healthy and a free people.
Definitely. So that's both, again, remind all of our listeners, it's this coming up September 16th and 17th down in Fillmore, and they go to conventionofliberty.com to get all the information. But it's going to be at down in Fillmore at the original state capitol building or territorial capitol building. And go ahead.
It's the territorial state house.
State house, right.
Right, and that is where the capital of the state of Deseret was first proposed.
Right.
And they actually held legislative sessions there for a couple of years. And so it's a great historic building, and the feeling there really adds a lot to the meeting as we go forward.
Yeah, that sounds like it's going to be really a neat place to do this. So Friday evening, the 16th, it's from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So give folks a good evening, and then all day Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Right.
In Fillmore. And
we're also hoping to do a workshop, a hands-on, this is your progression type workshop where we give some pointers and some, guides as to helping each person find what is the thing that I need to stand for. Because not all of us can do the exact same thing, but all of us are needed and necessary.
Right.
So, finding your own part, and we'll do some hands-on things to get that rolling.
I heard you are also doing some panel discussions. Tell me more about that.
Well, that's our hope, is to put a panel up of, a number of the speakers that will be there. And I can't tell you who's going to be on that panel yet because we haven't talked to everybody about it yet. But my hope is that we'll be able to just give, the people that attend this conference an opportunity to ask, the members of the panel specific questions about their pursuit of their mission, and maybe gather a little bit more of their hearts. And the idea of this is, like Charlotte said, for people to go away saying, what is my mission? What am I meant to do? And there's nothing better than hanging around a group of people who are pursuing their mission, to ignite that flame within our own hearts and to go out and realize that we too have talents. Every individual has a specific and a very unique talent that if they'll tap that talent, they can be as powerful as Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, even George Washington, and there were many people who tapped their talents in, the founding of this country, many,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and those great leaders at the top that we recognize could not have done it without all those others.
Right.
And the names will never really be known in history, but it's not about being known in history. It's about doing our part in the cause of liberty, and that's a very sacred duty that we have. This nation is a gift, beyond all understanding. I think it's very, very precious, and the liberties and the principles that have been handed down to us, the covenant of America, the ideal of America is very, very sacred, if you will, and
yeah.
we have to take care of that. It falls on our shoulders. We can't say, well, the founding fathers did a great job, or Abraham Lincoln did a great job. This is our day and this is our time, and we as a people have to stand up and pursue that mission that we each have, and That's the only way that this union will be preserved, or that liberty will prevail.
Awesome. This sounds like something that's important for everybody to go to, and it couldn't be a better and more symbolic weekend there on the September 16th and 17th. I hope everybody will go to conventionofliberty.com, pick up your tickets for this, and we hope to be able to see you all there. Thank you so much. Oh, is there any, before we take off, did you want to say something?
I do have one thing, and that is this: bring your kids. Bring your kids. This is a great way to introduce to your children the principles of liberty, and get them enthused and excited about joining this cause in their lives too.
Definitely. That's an important thing we see too often, where it's a passion of the parents, but then it kind of dies off with the kids. So yes, bring your children. Conventionofliberty.com. Thank you both, Charla and Guy. We'll see you there on the 16th and 17th.
All right. Tickets are only $15, so don't let any price scare you.
Make sure to subscribe to the Defending Utah YouTube channel. And also, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Gordon's Carpet Cleaning. If you want the job done right, call Gordon's Carpet Cleaning, 801-368-0140. That's 801-368-0140. We also want to let you know about the Editor Lady. She will help you publish your book or do any editing for a price you won't believe. Give the Editor Lady a call at 801-948-3667. That's 801-948-3667. Or email her at theeditorlady@gmail.com. We all know that we need to get prepared for job loss, disasters, and just plain life. You need to go to emergencyseedbank.com. That's emergencyseedbank.com. Enter coupon code DEFEND.UT to get your deep discount on Urban Emergency Seed Bank of 23 varieties of non-hybrid, non-GMO seeds, double hermetically sealed in Mylar for seeds that last for decades. emergencyseedbank.com, coupon code DEFEND.UT. Ben and Enoch will be back next Thursday from 10 to noon on K-Talk AM 630 in Salt Lake City.